Hello everyone, I am back and let me update you on what I've been doing. So, the air conditioner is out on the car condo, so there was no point in going there. So I decided to work on what I have here, which is the body parts. So I have the hood and the front spoiler. I had previously worked on the front end. So what I did was I sanded the gel coat on the parts. The parts were fiberglass with gel coat on it, gray gel coat. So I sanded the gel coat to scuff it up to give the paint something to stick to, which means getting rid of the gloss. It took a lot more than I thought to get rid of all the gloss, but I finally did that. Then I sprayed it with primer sealer, and then from there, I sprayed a moderate coat of primer that was a different color. The primer sealer was gray. The primer was a rusty brown. And the reason was that way when I sanded through the rusty brown, I would know I'm getting close to sanding through the primer sealer, which I did not want to do. Up until now, I always thought that you needed to put primer on gel coat. Come to find out, if you clean it well and scuff it, it actually doesn't need primer at all. Paint sticks just as well to scuffed up gel coat as it does to primer. I didn't know that, so I already had the primer on there. I kind of used the primer as a guide coat so that, again, like I said, if I sanded through it, I could see that I was getting close and needed to be careful from that point on. So once I got it all sanded, it was multiple colors because in some places I did sand through the brown down to the primer sealer. And then a couple places I actually sanded through the primer sealer, but just barely. And that exposed the gel coat. And that's when I found out that that's okay. You can paint right on the gel coat. But in order to have an even surface across everything, I then applied a couple coats of just plain primer. Once again, the typical gray primer. Once I did that, I let that dry, and then I put the blue color on it. So now you can see, there's the hood, painted blue. And then I also did the front spoiler. So those two are knocked out. What I'm going to do is color sand them after the paint's cured. That takes a day minimum. I'll probably give it a couple of days, honestly. No rush here. The other thing I'm working on is the trunk lid. So here is the trunk lid. I started sanding on it. If I'm not mistaken, I sanded the top surface, yeah. So I've sanded the top surface. I haven't cleaned it. And I still see some gloss right there a little bit. So I've still got some work to do on this. That's tomorrow's project. But then on the back side, I wanted it to where when you open up the trunk, you're not going to see gray. You know, the rest of the car is that blue color, and I didn't want to see gray. So I went ahead and started sanding on the part that's got gel coat on it. These areas down here are difficult to get to. I've got some special tools that I bought that you put on the end of a drill, and so I'll use those. And then I wasn't sure what to do about this area that is basically raw fiberglass. It's the back side of the surface that does not have the inner brace covering it. Someone suggested 80 grit sandpaper to rough it up, and then do the typical primer, sealer primer. Someone suggested gel coat. I have plenty of gel coat, so actually I think that's what I'm going to do, is rough it up with the 80 grit, and then put a coat of gel coat on top of it. Then scuff it up, and then do the typical, treat it just like I'm going to treat everything else. So that's what I'm looking at now, or at least thinking about now. So that's where I'm at now. Again, tomorrow I'm going to go back to this. We had a great day today. It only got up to like 93 degrees or something like that, and then the humidity was like 29% or something like that. So compared to the 111 degree or 110 degree, whatever, we set a record the other day, and I was out here working in most of it. So, I mean, it's funny because I am actually acclimated to those 100-degree days. So today actually felt quite comfortable, almost cool, as long as I was in the shade. Now in the sun it was hot, but in the shade it was tolerable. So I was able to get a lot of work done out here today, as you can see. All right, that's all I've got for now. So go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the alert, hit the thanks if you want to donate. And if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't know Jack. Bye.